Today, of all days, it is important not to forget the face of your father. Yes, it's Father's Day, so here are my favourite dads from the books of Stephen King. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Mustard and this is the place where I talk to you about all things Stephen King. And as you already know, because today, as this video drops, is Father's Day, we're doing a celebration of some of the best dads in the books of Stephen King. Stephen King, a father of three himself, of course. I'm a dad also. Just seemed like a good time. And if I'm being honest, this was actually suggested almost a year ago to the day by the very brilliant Yamil Rojas 4910. Thank you for suggesting it. Thank you for your patience, giving me basically an entire year to think about this. So I'm going to do a spoiler-free rundown of 10 of my favourite dads from the books of Stephen King. And as a little bonus, I'm also going to give you one Stephen King created dad who kind of straddles the line between good dad and bad dad. Wonder if you can guess who that might be. And also just one example at the end of a straight out bad dad. I'm going to go through my top 10 in order of publication of when they first appeared in books. Not a ranking, just 10 dads that I like, that I think are doing a solid job. I'll give you a few reasons why, but it will be spoiler free. And of course, as always with these things, I'd love to know your suggestions here. So let me know your favourite dads from the world of Stephen King. And if you've got ideas for future specials that I could do, let me know in the comments. I do screenshot them. I do get round to them eventually. And I love to have your input. Okay? Now, before we get started, if you're looking, I know it's very late right now, but if you're looking for something to treat your dad, either as a late Father's Day present, or if he's got a birthday coming up, or if you want to get ahead for next Father's Day, well, there's some links in the description for things that they might like, depending on their interests. So if they're into horror stuff, horror stories in particular, why not get them a copy of my award-winning collection, Once More Around the Sun? Yeah, I'm doing a cheap plug right now. I also have a Stephen King trivia book, so if your dad likes Stephen King and quizzes, perfect for them. And if your dad likes Stephen King and certain guitar-based bands and t-shirts, check out my range of Stephen King themed band shirts. And hey, if you just want to treat yourself, if you like what's going on here, you can become a constant viewer. You can become a member of this channel, get extra content, early access to regular stuff, and all of those kind of things. And if none of that works, fine, no problem. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, maybe consider doing that so you don't miss any videos in the future. Okay then, let's go. We haven't forgotten the faces of our fathers. It's Father's Day, so my top 10 Stephen King dads, plus one bad dad, and one who kind of toes the line. Let's get into it. And don't forget to let me know yours at the end. So we're going in publication order when they first appeared in the book. So my first Stephen King dad that I want to shout out is Peter Goldsmith, Franny's dad in The Stand. He is really empathetic and really understands his daughter and the predicament that she's in at the start of the book, i.e. she's pregnant. And he stands up for his daughter, to the point where he slaps down his own wife. Now, I don't condone the violence against his wife, but the steps he's willing to take to stand up for his daughter and support her and just be what you expect from your dad, which is a solid presence who has your back. He's great. We don't get him for that many pages, but he's really well drawn, and I think it's testament to King's writing of that character that you can fall for this character with so few pages. And in a book that I don't particularly like as well. So, Peter Goldsmith, you're a good dad. Next up, we're going to my favourite King book, The Dead Zone, and Herb Smith, Johnny Smith's dad. I just feel for Herb every time I read it because he is a fundamentally good man who has some fundamentally bad things happen to him. He's got a very small family unit. He's got a wife and one son. And he loses that son for 5 years to a coma, and then all of the things that happen to Johnny afterwards is just traumatic for him. And he doesn't exactly have an easy ride with his own wife either. And I just want him to have a happy ending. He's kind, he's thoughtful, he is a calming presence, he understands Johnny. He puts pressure on Johnny where he needs to, but also supports him fundamentally. So Herb Smith, you're a good dad. Next up, we're going to Firestarter and Andy McGee, Charlie's dad. I mean, Charlie, she is a product of a government experiment, and Andy just wants to live a nice family life with his wife and his daughter, and he's not allowed to do that. He is trying so hard to keep her safe, and he he puts himself on the line to make sure she has the best chance possible of escaping this horrible life that they haven't chosen and that has been forced upon them. And in this book, he takes some brave decisions, all for the betterment of Charlie, and literally puts his own health on the line. So you can't really ask for too much more. Yet sometimes you think, okay, Andy, maybe take a step back, but he's always got Charlie's interests at heart, and he is trying to save her all the way. So for that, and he's just really likeable as well. For that, Andy, you're a good dad. Next up, we're going to Cujo and Vic Trenton, Tad's dad. I love Vic. I think the way in which he writes the monster words for Tad. So he uses his professional skills as a marketer, as a copywriter, to write something that is so powerful and meaningful to his son, to help him go to bed at night and not worry about monsters in the closet. He is absolutely adored by Tad. And it's devastating to see the fact that when it all kicks off in Cujo, Vic isn't there and isn't able to have any impact on it. And I love catching up with him in Rattlesnakes as well, many years down the line. He just seems like a really, really good man. And he's even very gracious in the way he reacts to finding out his wife has been having an affair as well. Like, he doesn't just go crazy. He tries to do what's right for his family unit. But like I say, his boy just absolutely adores him, and he absolutely adores his son. It's just a really loving relationship, and yeah, I really like it. So Vic Trenton, you're a good dad. Okay, next up, we're going to the Dark Tower, and a slightly left field choice, but Roland Deschain, and I'm putting him in there as a father figure for Jake. Now, over the course of the series, Roland goes from wanting to be on his own to realising that Jake, as King puts in the text, is someone that he loves, and he does become a surrogate dad to Jake. And it's massively important, not only for the development of Roland's character, that he lets someone else in and gives himself some responsibility for somebody who he's not just going to let die the whole time. But also, Jake is missing a father figure from his existence in our Where and When. And I think Roland senses that. So he's a mentor, he's a kind caregiver, and he is that presence that Jake absolutely needs. So, yeah, it's pushing himself out of his comfort zone, but he does it, and he turns into, I think, a pretty good dad for Jake over the course of that series. So Roland, Cy, Heil Gunslinger, you're a good dad. Okay, next up, we're going to Pet Sematary and Lewis Creed, dad to Gage and Ellie. I mean, this book is tough for the parents, particularly for the dad in this. Some interesting decisions as the novel goes on, but fundamentally Lewis is trying to do what is right by his kids and his family. He puts them first and foremost, and a great example of perhaps how you have to alter your decision-making process when you are clouded by mental health issues and grief and other factors. But at the core of it, Lewis is a great dad. And my heart just breaks for him every time I read it. And the first time I read this book back after becoming a dad, it was so powerful. Hit me like a truck on a big road. But I have utmost respect for Lewis. He loves his wife, loves his kids, just wants to have a happy life with them. And yeah, Lewis Creed, you make some bad decisions, but you are a good dad. Okay, next up we're going to It and Will Hanlon, Mike Hanlon's dad. Now he is great. He's someone I've kind of forgotten about, but when I was doing a bit of research into this, his name cropped up time and time again. And yeah, he is a great presence in Mike's life. He sort of gives that love of devouring the history of Derry to Mike, but he also shows that you can stand up to your bullies, and he stands up to Butch Bowers, sets the example for Mike to stand up to Henry, and is just, again, a fundamentally good man, somebody who's trying to embed himself in a community that might not necessarily want him, but isn't just going to let himself be pushed out, isn't going to let himself be beaten down, and yeah, just an admirable figure and a really, really good presence for Mike. So, Will Hanlon, you're a good dad. Okay, next up we're going to The Sundog and John Delavan, who is Kevin's dad. So Kevin is the main character in The Sundog, but John is such a good presence. When he learns that his son has started talking to Pop Merrill about the weird camera, he's had bad experience of Pop Merrill. He knows what kind of a guy Pop Merrill is, and he steps in to try and stop his son from going too far down. And from that point onwards, he is right there with his son. He has got his back the whole time. And he goes through that entire experience with him, right by his side. Again, just a really good example of kind of a young teenager dad relationship, and somebody who maybe has put themselves in a situation they don't want to be in, but isn't backing down from that point. He's got his boys back, and he's doing what needs to be done. So, John, you are a good dad. Okay, we're going back to the Dark Tower world and the Walls of the Cala this time, and Tian Jaffords. Now, he is someone in his community who refuses to just give in and let his family be decimated. He is the one who is willing to take a stand against the wolves and push back against the idea of just letting these people come through and take the children of this village and ruin dozens of families' lives. He is such a powerful, imposing figure, a great example of a father, and even shows that in other worlds than these, there are good dads out there. So Tian, you are a good dad. And lastly, on my 10 favourite dads, we're going to Fairy Tale. Yeah, really, my least favourite Stephen King book. And we're going to George Reed. So he's the dad of the narrator, Charlie. And, well, he's a great example of how bad things happening doesn't mean that your path is set and your life is only going to exist in one way. He's a widower. He lost his wife in a hit-and-run accident, and then he became an alcoholic. But he clawed his way back. And he's back to being a functioning and effective parent again. And he is supportive of his son's relationship with Mr. Bowditch and sees the benefit for both of them there and helps them navigate the difficulties of it. And again, he's just a really strong presence, even though he's fighting his own demons the whole time, and he's put through some stuff in that book that might have triggered a relapse. He's still there, and he's still being an excellent dad. So George, you are a good dad. Okay, I'm going to jump to one example of a bad dad. And there are probably more than one, almost certainly more than one, certainly examples of bad mums. But the one I've picked is in It, and it's Alvin Marsh, Beverly's dad. Basically, I'll just say that when it comes to dads like Alvin, I worry about him. I worry about him and dads like him. I worry about them a lot. And then lastly, one dad who straddles the line between good and bad. And of course, it's Jack Torrance from The Shining. So, okay, breaking your kid's arm, bad dad. Raging and drinking and all of that kind of stuff, bad dad. But there is a lot of good dad in Jack Torrance as well. And without spoilers, there are points towards the end of this book that really show who he is as a father. That don't get captured in the movie, by the way. So he is a complex, complicated character, especially when it comes to his portrayal of being a father. And he definitely pulls from the light and the dark. So he absolutely straddles the line. I think at the core there is an excellent dad in there, but he is a troubled individual. So he gets to go in both. Anyway, there's my selection of Stephen King dads, but who's your favourite dad in a Stephen King book? Let me know in the comments. There we go, there's your Father's Day special done. I hope that shows I haven't forgotten the face of my father. I hope you haven't forgotten the face of your father, assuming you have a father in your life. I know some people don't. Anyway, thank you to Yamil for suggesting that so long ago and for waiting and letting me get through and do it. And as I said already, let me know your favourite dad characters in Stephen King's books. And, well, that's about it. Check out what else I've got going on my channel. I've got the Silver Scream features, which are me talking about horror films. And if you're looking for book recommendations that aren't Stephen King, you can check out my book club. There's nearly 50 suggestions in there already now. Do check that out as well. But otherwise, happy Father's Day to all of you who are celebrating. And, well, I guess I'll see you again back here real soon for more stuff. So long.